What is up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Turkey season's almost here, and I'm going to show you what I carry out in the field for filming my hunts and my turkey equipment. Believe it or not, pretty much everything that I carry in the field turkey hunting is in this bag right here. This is basically just an Amazon's basic camera bag. I think you can pick them up off of Amazon for like 25 bucks. And all of my HD video equipment is in this bag. Now I do have other things. Obviously I carry a bow hunt, so I carry a bow. I hunt out blinds a lot, so I've got a blind backpack with chairs and everything, and I can strap my tripod to that. But this has all my essentials, minus decoys of course too, for me to go turkey hunting and self-film. So I actually weighed this bag here just a few minutes ago, and it weighs in right at about 10 pounds. It's handy. I just grab a hold of it and go. So what's all in this thing? You'll be surprised. There's a ton. So this bag is really cool because snap open it right up, and you can see right away in the top. The first thing I do when I get out there and I'm setting up decoys, I like to hunt with GoPros on the decoys. So I have two GoPros in here. This one here, and I put them on these Joby pods. This one here is a GoPro Hero 8 Black. So it's sitting here on a Joby pod, and I still use, a GoPro stand up. And I still use a GoPro Hero Black Plus 3 or 3 Plus. So I use these out in the decoys. Now, I run these on a video loop, so to do that, I have to power them. And with that, the right pocket here, I carry two battery packs right here. And then I have cables that connect them. And in this pocket, I keep all of my cables. So I always have cables ready to go. I got battery to go, and I can loop these and run continuous video while I'm out there. In this other side pocket, since I already unzipped it, are my black mask, which is reversible in camo, and a pair of black gloves. The right glove, because I'm a right-handed shooter, I have the fingers and thumb cut off. The left glove is just a complete glove, and that would be my bow hand that's out front. So those are kept in this side pocket right here. Going into the main pouch, you can see right here, of course, the bread and butter is the camera. So right here, I always go out set up like this. This is a Sony a6500. I have a generic L bracket on the bottom of it and a small rig top plate across the top. What I like about this is it uses an Arca Swiss mounting system, so it goes right onto my fluid head, and then it has cutouts for all my necessary cables over here on the side, and I've got cold shoes on here for mounting microphones, monitors, anything I want. I go out basically with an 18 to 105 f4 Sony lens. This is actually a power zoom lens, so I can actually drive this lens off of my remote control, which is on my fluid head. I go out lens cap. I go with a variable ND filter on here, so I can, if it's really bright, I can crank up the ND filter and get my exposure the way I want without having to mess up my shutter speed. So that's my camera setup. I also carry another lens with me as well, and the lens I like to carry with me is a Sigma 16 f1.4 lens. As well, it's a very wide angle lens, so in the blind when it's dark, sometimes like in the morning when you're setting up, you don't have a lot of light in the blind, I can switch to this one. I can get everything in the blind or at the end of the daylight as well. So it's a very good lens. I also keep an ND filter on this. It's variable, so I can stop it down as I need to. And if I need to, I can just unthread them real quick. So that stays in a pocket as well. For a microphone, I use a Rode Micro, I believe it's the Micro model. So it's just sitting here loose and ready to go, and I can slide it into the hot shoe of the camera or any of the cold shoes, and then I can plug it into the side like so. So then the camera is ready to go. In here also, one thing I'd never film without, because I absolutely love it, is an external monitor. So there is a mount, and I have two different mounting systems. I have one on my fluid head, and I can also mount this one if I want to, say, on my cage. I actually like the side mount better and using this cold shoe. I'll thread that real quick. And can go in there, and I can thread this down. And then my monitor can mount on the top of it. So what do I use for a monitor? I use a Feel World 4K. This is actually their F450 model. I don't think they make this model anymore, but they make several models in the 4.5 to 7 inch range. This is basically a 4.5 inch screen, a little bit bigger than a cell phone by comparison, just so you can see. That's my Android cell phone, so you can see size-wise, very thin. With that, got an HDMI cable, battery pack for the monitor. I snap right on there. It'll automatically turn on, and then I can thread the monitor on, and I can have it facing me, or if I'm filming away at a turkey, I can actually spin it and face me if I want to. Plug the HDMI into the side of the camera, and it's all set up to go. So that's all ready to go at all times. Also in here, I like to bring a set of wireless microphones. I've been going with the Rode Micro these days. It's kind of a nice little setup. I got a little lav mic here, and I have the receiver and the transmitter on this. So basically, if I want to run this instead of the shotgun mic, I can just slide this in here right like that. I can disconnect this cable here, run it into the mic receiver, and then I can plug the transmitter, the lav into the transmitter, put it on my belt. I can also, this transmitter's got a built-in mic if I want to as well. So I have that going for me. It comes with a nice little case. So all that is in there, as well as another power bank, because you can never have too many power banks. So another power bank, and a whole slew of batteries. These are camera batteries. This is a spare battery for the monitor. So these are with me at all times as well. And then when I get in here, I also like to have a small LED panel light. These are very handy in situations where you need a little bit of light for a photograph, you need a little bit of light for a monitor. These are an awesome little light. They're variable power, so you can, it's cranked up right now, but I can run it all the way down and set that brightness to where I want. They recharge with a USB plug-in. So these are a fancy little light. They only cost 30, 40 bucks on Amazon, and they're pretty handy to have. So I always keep one with me. They make great backlighting, all kinds of uses for them. Flashlight in a pinch as well. So with that, we haven't even gotten into anything that I need for turkey hunting. So obviously I already mentioned I've got all my cables and everything that I keep up in a zipper pouch up here. So really all I take for turkey hunting, I'm not a big call person. I keep my calls limited. I keep an assortment of strikers. All these strikers were made by Ed Jenkins from Ghostmaker Game Calls. I really love this laminated wood one. It's probably my favorite, my go-to, but I always keep some others if I need to throw a little bit different sound out there. If I would drop and, God forbid, lose my favorite striker, I have another striker. Knock on wood, I've had this striker now for probably 7 or 8 years, and it goes with me everywhere on a turkey hunt. My go-to call all the time is made by Ed Jenkins. It's a slate over glass call. He made this for me back in 2010, so I've had this slate. This would be my 10th year, so probably my 11th. It was made in October, so this would be my 10th year running this call right here. I love this call. Another call that I take with me is a little aluminum pot call. Again, Ed Jenkins made for me many years ago. This one's not even dated. I think I've had this one for probably 13, 14, maybe 15 years, a long time. So I take those calls with me. I will take just a mouth call, and I can't even tell you what brand this mouth call is. I just keep it in this is just an old HS strut case. It doesn't mean that's what it is. I'll take 1 or 2 mouth calls just in case. I don't really run mouth calls very much, but it's always nice to have one if you get in a pinch. I do not take a box call with me. I don't take any push button calls. I don't take any locator calls, no crow calls, owl calls, goose calls, any of that stuff. Not that they don't work. For me, I just never use them. I've drugged them out with me turkey hunting. I don't take them, so less is more anymore, in my opinion. So that basically empties the main pouch. This bag's got a nice front pouch on it. And in the front pouch, this is kind of my catch-all. This is my assortment of things that I have in here. An ink pen. Always need an ink pen, whether it's to fill out a license, to jot down information, whatever. Always an ink pen. Always something to write on. I keep these little tiny notepads. This was given to me one time on a job site, I think, and I've got 2 or 3 of them. I just throw them in. I like them because they get a little hard cover on them. These stakes are actually for the Dave Smith motion mating pair decoy system. I keep them right here handy all the time. My release from my bow. This is a Hot Shot X-Spot release. I keep it in my bag. That way I know where it's at all times. I don't slide out hunting thinking I threw it in my pocket and left it on the counter back at home, or left it in the truck or wherever. It's always in my camera bag until I'm ready to hunt, and then it's clipped on my bowstring. When I'm done, it goes back in the camera bag. So I always know that I have it. Other things, 2032 batteries. These are always handy for different items. It seems like there's always a headlamp or some type of thing that needs these type of batteries. I just keep some. This package has been in my bag for years and probably not even very good anymore, but I keep them because you just never know when you're going to need batteries. Lights are something that I always keep handy. I always have a ton of little lights. This is a little clip light. I think I found it on Amazon years ago. It looked cool. I do like it. I can clip it onto, say, a rod in a blind. I can clip it onto my bag. I can clip it onto a hat. Wherever I need light real quick. It's a rechargeable LED light. Nothing fancy. I don't think the thing was more than $5 or $6 on Amazon back when I bought it. And it kind of goes everywhere with me. You never know when you're going to need a light, and I like lights. Speaking of that, here's another light. So one of the things I do is I use these keepers all the time that extend out. This is just a little, you never know. Again, when you just need a light real quick, you drop something on the ground, you just need a little bit of light. Here's another keeper. I bought these little things off of Amazon. They stretch out. And this is just a drilled out quarter. It works. Quarters work great as flat screwdrivers, and if you're into camera gear, you're always needing a flat screwdriver. So that's a great little handy tool that I keep on hand all the time. Just a little miscellaneous ball mount. If I would happen to need to mount something in my camera, it doesn't take up any room. I just keep it in there. It's not something I really, knock on wood, can remember ever needing, but when I do, I'll be glad I've got it. I keep a little Bluetooth trigger, and this is for my cell phone. I can buy these on Amazon or eBay for $5 or $6. If in a pinch and you need to take a selfie or something like that with your phone, these are really handy. It acts as a shutter control for your cell phone. So it's a really cool little thing. Again, it takes up almost no space, so I throw it in there. This is quite the tool. I don't even know if they make these anymore. Skip Enterprises used to make these, and it is a, I don't remember the product name, but basically when you kill a turkey, you can fan it out and stick the quills in here. So the center of his fans here, stick the quills on the end sets of feathers in there, and it holds it spread out. I use this particularly when I've killed, say, multiple birds, and you're trying to hold one and prop another one up, and this thing works. I bought, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 of these years ago, and I always keep one in my bag, and I usually keep several in my truck if I would need more. But these are a really handy little tool. I don't even know if they make them anymore. Again, it's skipenterprises.com, but they're great. I'm sure somebody could 3D print those now. So, and then there's a pocket here that I dive into and open up, and this has got more catch-all essentials. I usually keep a package in a Ziploc bag of some wet wipes. You never know, you get blood on your hands, whatever, you need to clean your hands off. Very important. I usually keep just a few squares of toilet paper, which in March of 2020 is absolute gold, apparently, because you got to hoard this. So I keep those because you just never know when nature's going to call. I keep a myriad of little windscreens for my lavalier mic system. You never know when it's going to be windy and you want to knock the wind down. I keep a whole bunch of small zip ties. These are very handy for putting a tag on a turkey. In Indiana, for example, as a landowner, I basically fill out just a plain piece of paper with my information when I kill a turkey, and then I can use a couple zip ties to hold it on the leg while I get it back to the truck and then home for processing and all that. So you never know when a zip tie is going to be handy for all kinds of things when you're out hunting. So I carry a bunch of these little ones around. If I need something bigger, I can daisy chain them together. So I keep a bunch of them in the bottom. They're usually floating around in here. More quarters. Again, quarters are screwdrivers for the photo and video world. I keep some odds and ends little Allen wrenches. These two here actually fit my bow pod on my bow if it would come out of adjustment, some other things. One of them actually fits a couple items on my camera frame. You never know when something's going to come loose. And rather than carry a big thing of, you know, the fold over Allen wrenches, these are super handy and they take up no room. And yeah, you got to dig for them, but hey, I'd rather have them and have to dig for them than not have them or carry something big and bulky around. I also carry, typically, I have daughters, so I carry 2 or 3 or 4 hair ties with me usually. These are just elastic hair ties, and basically I carry them around for anytime I need to attach anything to anything. Again, you're out there hunting, something happens, you break something, you need to attach a microphone to something, you need to attach a light to something. Worst case, I've used them to actually attach tags to turkeys. So I always have a bunch of hair ties with me because I raise 2 daughters, and so they're everywhere in my house. So that essentially, I do have a lens cleaning cloth here, retractable. I've had these for years. These came from Gander Mountain, but I know you can buy them about anywhere. So I keep those, and yeah, that's it. All that stuff goes into this bag. And when I go turkey hunting, believe it or not, it's a pretty well-oiled machine. It usually takes me 1 or 2 hunts to get back in the flow, but it's a pretty well-oiled machine. I know where everything's at. I can find it in the dark. I can put it back away in the dark. So yeah, it's a pretty good setup. Again, I do have my tripod with a 4th arrow arm on there that I like to use in the blind. I strap this onto my blind carrier on the back. I've got my fluid head, remote control, another mount for my monitor. I can use this on the monitor if I want to. An Arca Swiss plate on there. It's absolutely phenomenal. I do this year. I've got an Insta361R 360 camera. I think I'm going to start the year out mounting this on my bow. I've got a bracket off the side of my bow. I'm going to try it and see how I like it. I've test shot it. It works well. The footage is really good in doing it. And I'm just going to play with it and see. I may change it up and do something else different over the course of time. Those are the main things that I'm taking out when I'm going turkey hunting this year from camera gear and just basic turkey hunting equipment. Again, besides decoys, blind, and my bow. So yeah, that's it. Now I do keep other camera gear in my truck or, you know, wherever I'm hunting. If there's a cabin, I'll keep other cameras. I've got other cameras. I keep a drone, other lenses. I've got more lenses for the Sony system, but these are the basics that I need for going out and putting down a 4K or high-speed 1080 footage that can be slowed down in post. So that's my system in 2020. 10 pounds. Whew. So with all that, good luck this year. Be safe. Stay healthy in this crazy world that we're living in right now. God bless. And as always, it's a new day in the outdoors.